So Gabrielle and I have been getting this question over and over again from our sellers and from our buyers regarding what is going on with Ron DeSantis's tax initiative that's supposed to be voted in on November. And we have broken down some of the top level bullet points to share with our buyers and our sellers.
Yes, so this November, Florida voters get to decide whether or not the homestead exemption increases. So what this would entail is taking the current $50,000 homestead exemption and increasing it to $150,000 for the year 2027. And then in 2028, the homestead exemption would go up to $250,000. So in order to qualify for these enhanced homestead exemptions, you would need to establish your Florida homestead residency by the end of 2026. Now, if you don't establish your homestead residency by the end of 2026, the good news is you'll still receive a homestead exemption, but it will be at the current $50,000 exemption. So for investors, for non-homesteaded properties, for landlords, there's also some relief for you. What this amendment proposes, it would take the current 10% assessment cap and reduce it to 5%.
Okay, so we broke this down into basic numbers for you guys so you can kind of see how it applies to you. So assuming that the millage rate stays the same over the next several years, the first wave of savings in 2027 will save the average person about $1,600 per year. So you rate that down monthly, that's really like ballpark $135 a month. In 2028, the next wave of savings will save everyone $3,200 per year. Again, broken down, that's roughly about $273 per month. So the question is, at $273 per month, for some people that's a huge savings and an incentive to move forward on purchasing. For others, it doesn't necessarily make or break the bank for them, and therefore not an incentive. Now, the good news is that if you're a renter, and your landlord keeps calling and raising your rent, claiming that the taxes going up is the reason, maybe you won't get that phone call next year or the year after because their taxes are going to be capped at an increase at 5%, whereas before it was 10. There's a lot of controversy over this. We've got supporters and we've got opponents. And the supporters are saying, you know, that we deserve relief after years of rising home costs. I think a lot of people resonate with that. Lower taxes would improve affordability and it will allow Florida residents to remain in their homes or finally purchase their first home. And that local governments have been benefiting from huge increases on property taxes over the past decade. And they should go ahead and reimburse some of those taxpayers. Now the opponents will say local government really heavily relies on this money for property tax revenue. And communities may need to identify alternative funding sources for future growth in our infrastructure, but the long-term impacts on local budgets and services are still being debated. So what do you guys think about all this?
Leave a comment below.